Hello and welcome back to my channel. For today I have a little tutorial for you and this tutorial contains mixing station and how to build your own layout. Uh, yeah, the goal of today's tutorial is that we build this layout you can see here on the screen from scratch. My goal is that this tutorial will give you enough confidence and basic knowledge so you're able to build your own layout, so you're able to go from this point and find a way so Mixing Station supports your workflow the best. Good. Now let's start right away. The first thing what I want to tell you is what is a layout and what is not. Uh, there are actually three elements in Mixing Station. They are separate elements, but they are working quite close together. These elements are first the layout. The layout is what you see on the screen right now, all the elements you can see. The second one are the layers. You have here in this layout on the bottom a layer list. Each list contains a set of faders. Each set can be defined with channels you like, you need to, and they will control what you can see in the mixer up here. Layers are different from layouts. And the other one who works close together is the channel strip settings. You see here pretty easy defined channel strips, just a mute button down here, a fader, then a pan up here, a solo button and a name. That's about it. In the channel strip settings, you could actually add like a sign of a PEQ, we see it here, or a list of your sends, like this one. So the design of your channel strip changes. As more information as you can place in, as more as you can see at the same time, but also as less space you have for the faders. Let's bring this back to what I had it before. So these are the three elements: layouts, layers, and channel strip items. We are going to see the layouts for today. First, to begin with all, I will show you how to delete all your existing layouts and start from scratch. Open the wheel, hit layouts, and delete everything what is in this list. Here's the delete knob, just delete it. And now if I'm going back, there is the default starting layout, which is implemented by default. We'll start from here. The layout settings, or to create a layout, hit the wheel, open layouts, and if you don't have any, the list is empty. To add the first layout, hit the plus button, and you will get the layout designer open. You can recognize that the layout designer is on the green bars in here, or back here you will see some grids. This is the layout editor. It's labeled up here, edit layout. There are some little green squares here. If you grab it on a square, an element, you can resize it like I do it now. Or if you grab it in the middle, you can move it around. For our layout, we'll just start and delete every element who's on. Just click on it, hit delete, click on it, hit delete. Oh, excuse me. Delete. Okay. Now let's see what the top row is. First add some elements so I can show you some stuff. This button here, it's labeled size and move. If you click on it, you will change the resize, change the move, and goes back to size and move. Size and move means you have that little green squares and you can resize it with grabbing it at the square, or you can move it. If you're going to the setting resize, you can only resize it, but you can't move it. All different ways, but there is no way to move. The same with move. You can move it, but whenever you touch it, it will stay in the same size, and move has both in it. Then the next button defines the size of your grid. The elements will always snap into the grids as soon as you move it. Okay, with this grid you won't have space for a lot of controls, but just go through. Its cycle starts at the beginning, and let's use this size for the moment. The plus sign, with this you can add new elements to your screen. This one is for copying and pasting elements. We'll need it later. This one will undo the last action, and here are the layout options we'll see at the end. So our layout should have some elements. Let's start with the element list. There are some presets, predefined elements in here. There are some elements for channels in here, like a channel strip or channel view. There are some general elements like buttons, faders, labels. And there are some mixer element, like the layer buttons, a meter bridge, the mixer element by itself, sense on fader buttons, and sidebar. We'll start with the mixer element, place it on screen, bring it into a size we like. Let's see, probably something like this for the beginning. We can resize it later on. Clicking and hitting edit will give you some parameters. One is how many visible channels that this mixer should contain. In-grid means we'll take in the same value as defined in our layer settings. And we can have a layer offset. If we, at example, have 3 mixers on our layout, we can have one with layer -1, one with the currently selected layer, and one with the next layer in the list. Because we have only one mixer, we can leave it at 0. And if you want to have separate channel strip settings, separate elements on the channel strip than the default value are, we can add here new channel strip settings. This is the mixer. On our layout, we want to have a channel view element above, like the channel view. This looks like this, brings everything for a channel with it. So just place it here. Channel view doesn't have really any parameters. You cannot set anything else. Then on the right side we want to have a bus master fader. Also this element, this is actually one of the presets, bus master channel, which can just use it. Place it here and size it as we like it. Okay, then what else? On the bottom space here, we will have a list where we can choose the active layer. Let's find this one. Might be in Mixer and it's called Layer Buttons. So just move it down here. And I do use the full available space. So what's next? On the left, no, sorry, on the right side on top, here we want to have Mutegroup Buttons, and on top of the main fader we want to have some shortcuts. Let's start with the shortcuts. Shortcuts most likely are defined by general buttons. Let's bring it over here, bring it into the right size like this, and edit it. The first button we will show what scene or what show is active at the moment. To say what a button has to do, we have to add an action to it. For this case, we'll start with the action type cancel and show. Use scene and current to show the current loaded scene. And let's see what we will get. You see we'll get current scene 21 blah blah. We might want to remove that current scene and just leave the name, because we should know that this is the current scene. This can also be edited. Here are some variables which the button can get from. The value is represented by our scene, and in front this label is the text current scene. Let's just remove the label, so we just have the name left here. Now let's copy and paste this button. The second one, with this one we want to open the scribble strip. Also edit. Oh, let's leave this for a moment. Now we change the action from app, then open view. This is actually most needed open view. And here we find scribble strip. Now we have some alt label here. It's not what we like. This is because we have the value left here. Let's see what comes if we put in label in here. Open scribble strip is not really what I like. Then let's put an own label in. Scribble strip. So the next button should open our mute group. So also here, let's relabel and find the right action. It's also action type of open view, mute groups. One more for the DCA configuration. Also changing the action to DCA. And then we want to open our USB player. So here, the label. And also the USB player is an action type of open view. It's called audio player, USB player. And now what I see, I have to resize that stuff a bit. So I can add another button. So this will open our XLive card. These are just examples. If you want to use different buttons, you see there are a lot of views to open or a lot of other actions you can assign. So now we have this row done. Then next we will add 6 mute group buttons. There is also a preset already there, button mute group. Bring it here into the right size. Then copy, paste and increment to get the second one. Copy, paste and increment for the third one. Copy, paste and increment for the fourth one. Copy for the fifth and for the sixth and last one. Down here I'm going to add the Sense on Fader buttons for mix buses and for FX buses. Also for this there is a preset called button Sense on Fader. But actually I don't like this label. I usually change it for Sense on Fader. I'm not using label value. What I'm going to use is the label SOF name. And just for me personally, all monitor buses are green for me, and this is how I like it to look. Let's copy, and you know already what I do. Paste and increment, copy, paste and increment, copy, paste and increment. These are the 4 monitor buses Sense on Fader. Bring this a bit bigger. You see I can mark a few elements, and now 1, 2, 3, 4. They are all together resized. Now let's add the 4 FX buses. The first one, I have to change the action to my first FX bus. You see here action type sense and fader and the FX bus. The FXs I usually have in Magenta. So, and do our copy and paste and increment. Oops. Copy, paste and increment for the third one. Copy, paste and increment for the fourth one. Now we have some space left down here. Let's put, let's say, one special one. Right, show what I want to do with this one. It's also sense on fader. This one putting in red, and I'm assigning sense on fader, and the very bottom one, gain. This changes my faders to represent, instead of the fader volumes, the gains. It's quite handy to gain stage. So this is actually everything we need for a layout, where we have some shortcuts on it, some all of the mu groups directly assigned, some of the send some fader buses, some of the FX buses, send some fader gains, and we have access to all our layers. With the wheel button, this is quite an important step now. With the wheel button, we can define how this layout should react. We can give them a name in here. Let's say my layout, whatever. The next one, the behavior, is quite important. Behavior can either be default, can be set to override mixer layout, or open on startup. For the layout, you want to have as your default layout, the layout you're working normally with, but it can only be one. It should be set to override mixer layout. That setting will be, so your layout will be opened as first layout. You will start mixing station, and at any time if you hit the home button, it will be the layout will be opened at the end. The orientation is if you have a tablet that turns the screen from portrait to horizontal, you can say if you want to use the same layout in both settings, or if you want to have separate layouts. Then if the behavior is override mixer layout, this top menu doesn't do anything. But if it's set to default and you open it manually, you can say if the top menu still stays there or if you don't want to see it. And some special feature here, password on exit. This is meant to be used if you want to have a layout with just a few or restricted elements on it, and you don't want the user to exit that layout to open something else. Then you will say open on startup, and you will set the password. In this case, the user cannot change into any other layouts without entering a password. For us, we want to have it as default layout, so we say override mixer layout and hit apply. Now it's actually done. Let's see how it works. Here we go. This is what we have defined. You see here the channel view always represents the currently selected channel with the overview, with the configuration, with the insert if there is one. Let's see on this channel. No, not on this. On this channel is an insert on it with gate settings, PEQ settings, compressor settings, with all the sends from the channel, including the tap points down here. And the main section with why is this not in the center? Okay. With the palm, with the main LR assignment. And okay. Not quite sure why one microphone is coming out. Ah, okay. No, this is okay. With the main assignment, a mono assignment, everything we need here. Okay. Then we have here the buttons to open some views, like here is our currently opened scene. But it's not changeable at the moment. We can add this in the second step. Then here we open the scribble strips. We open the mute group assignment, where we can label mute groups and can assign channels to it. With the DCA assign, same for DCAs. All DCAs on top here, and the and the assigned channels to it. With the, our USB player, the XLive card with the mute groups. Actually, the mute group 1 should be here. Let's unmute these ones. So you see here, the mute group controls these returns here. Then send some faders to control the monitor levels. And to control the FX sends. Then here, the special knob I told you, clicking on this knob will change the faders to represent the gains. You see here is the gain is set at 11.5. If I move it up, it's 25. Let's move it back to 11.5. So it's been back where it was. This is quite handy during gain staging, setting gains. Now the only thing what we have left open is how we could come from this to the scenes, to the scenes show, to the scenes page. There is a special thing. We can add 2 actions to a button. Let's edit it. We have already current scene, which gives you the label, and now we add an open view, show scene action, a second action to the same button, and let's check how it works. It's still here, and now it opens to the scene. We can save the scene in here. We can load another one. What we had before. So that's about it for today's tutorial. Oh, let's see. Something else. We can save all our settings. With the wheel, and then the folder icon will bring you to that page where we can save our settings. Parts are our layers, our layouts, and our MIDI configuration. Unfortunately, the channel strip configuration is missing in here. The general one, it might be added sometimes. I don't know. To save our settings, we'll just hit the plus and give them a name. My settings. And that generates a new line in here where we have the settings, layers, layouts, and MIDI configuration stored. If you change anything, let's just remove something here. You see it's removed now. If I go back to my folder, now I can reload that setting. It's kind of like a snapshot, like a copy on the fly I've made before. I can just load it, and as you can see, it's here again. My settings can also be exported or imported. I can export or say share. Oh, let's see first save. If I change anything, let's change this color down here, make it yellow. You see it's yellow now. As we know, reloading that settings will make it back red. But if I want to save it again into that setting, I just can hit save. And now it's the currently running values are saved in my settings. This is the save button here. If you change anything during your progress, if autosave is on, all settings will be saved constantly, and they will stay here in your default settings. The current running values are always saved. It's not going to update any other settings. You have to do it by yourselves with hitting the save button. Then we can publish these settings. We can share it either locally into some kind of folder. You might not see the folder icon or save it right now. And we also can share it to the community. Community is a part of the DevCore website where you can publish or you can save for yourself any kind of settings, any kind of preset of mixes. You can publish a lot of stuff out there. Let's see how this works. Show you the browser here. So you need to be logged into your Mixing Station account for sure, and you can save it as new preset, or you can also override an existing preset. Just save it as new one, add a description if you like, and you also can share this preset with others. Okay, if sharing with others, there's a description needed. I will remove this for now and just hit save. It will take a few seconds till the snapshots are generated. In my data, my settings should be there. So let's see where it is. Here. Let me delete this one. So here are the settings. Screenshot is here from our layout at the moment. And from here, I can download it into Mixing Station in any other installation of Mixing Station on the same device or on any other device. That has is been done in Mixing Station. Therefore, switch back to Mixing Station. So let's delete that one because we have shared it already to the community. And now we can download it. We can, with the arrows, we can reload it from the hard drive. Here, this is what I saved on my hard drive. And with the community button, I can go, let's see if I go here. My settings are here. Yes. Can reload it from the community. That list here consists of all your own settings from the community page and all settings from other users which you have bookmarked. So now we have got our My Settings back, but they are just downloaded to our Mixing Station instance. They are not active yet. Let's delete first. Let's delete all to show you. Delete. Yes, our layout is deleted. As you can see, we are back on the basic default layout. Let's delete this one here. Let's delete this one here. So we really do not have anything left. It's all by default now. And let's download it again from the community. Let's find the right, that one here. It's here now, but as you can see, it's not applied yet. To apply, we have to hit load. Yes, and now it's applied with all we have defined in advance. This is a good thing. With this way we can share our settings to others. I'm using it a lot to keep all my devices onto the same settings. I'm using, as you can see here, my PC at home. I have a tablet and a phone with Mixing Station. This way, with publishing into the community and downloading from on the other devices, I'll keep my settings constant and synchronous over all my devices. So that's about it for today. Yeah, 40 minutes talk. I hope it wasn't too boring for you. I hope you will get a bit out of it. My goal is to get you enough confidence to go from that point here to create a layout who really supports your workflow and to help what you need. Good. Thanks for watching that long video and have a good day. Bye-bye.